Welcome to It's All Fine and Dandy, where we talk about community, health, culture, and all of the big and little things that make life good. Here are your hosts, Dan and Angie.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 17 of
Holy smokes, 17.
I know, of It's All Fine and Dandy, as Bill Files just said at the beginning there.
We are almost at 20.
I gotta take a breath.
Yeah.
I felt like I just...
It's from, you know why? It's from doing 17 podcasts.
That's what it is. It's actually what it is, right? From
Can't believe we're that close.
Preparation time, you know?
No kidding. Well, we are having our this and that chit-chat over coffee.
We are, even though it's fairly late at night.
It is fairly
almost
late.
11 o'clock.
We could have pretended it was morning.
We could have. We're not going to lie to the audience.
No, we never do. That's good.
We don't. So what's up with me? School is almost done, Daniel.
I know.
I am in the home stretch here.
It's very exciting.
Very much looking forward to it.
Yes.
The school keeps trying to talk me into going for the master's program.
Yep. Well,
Yes.
so remind everybody what you're going to school for.
So I go to school for, which most people won't understand, bachelor's degree,
Right.
bachelor's of science degree in alternative medicine.
Yes.
So what that means is it's just basically all-encompassing.
Yep.
I learn about all different types of alternative medicine, which goes right along with what I do. I'm a health coach.
That's right.
So teaching people how to balance through food, through, reducing stress, all sorts of other things that make up.
It's been very beneficial to me because I've changed my diet because of your coaching, and I really appreciate that. I will tell you that from an outsider, the stuff that I see you studying, it looks like you're becoming a doctor.
Sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now I'm in a biology class. It's a little over my head.
Well,
I thought it was going to be easy towards the end. No, not so much.
no, it gets harder and harder probably, huh?
And it's just basic biology, but biology and chemistry go, not biology so much, but the chemistry part of it goes right over my head. It's like, oh, there's too much.
Everything I know about chemistry, I learned from Breaking Bad, so I probably can't help you too much.
But that's fun kind of learning chemistry. What else am I up to this week? I am really actively pursuing helping out with the Golden Warriors Festival.
Oh, very nice.
That we are going to be at in September.
Yep.
So we're going to be going around and asking businesses to purchase those big gold ribbons.
Right.
In support of cancer awareness for children.
Yes, I'm excited to be part of it.
Awareness. Anyway.
We're going to paint Apopka gold.
That's right. And I wanted to say, calling all cars, because the Golden Warrior Festival is being held at Beef O'Brady's in Apopka.
Yep.
And what we're trying to do is make it a fun event or what Elena is trying to do is make it a fun event for the community. And she's putting together like a car and truck show. So if you have a cool car or truck that you just want to bring out and show off, because we know that you do. We know that if you have a cool car or truck, you really want to show it off. I mean, that's why you have it, right?
Sure.
Bring it out so people can enjoy it. Your entry fee will go towards a good cause. It's going to be donated to Alex's Lemonade Stand, which is a foundation that helps with childhood cancer. So Come on out, enjoy the day, and get involved. Get actively involved in your community. And then next month, we are actually, gearing up for back to school already. August 12th, I think, is back to school in Seminole County.
Oh, I can't believe that's already almost here.
It's already almost here. So next month, our theme is going to be focusing on teachers from all different educational levels.
I'm excited about that.
We're going to go from elementary all the way up to the college level, and even possibly some special guests in there. We'll see. Stay tuned.
You mean special guests besides the teachers?
Well, something that has to do with schooling.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's a dean at a college or, something geared more towards that.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Stand by.
I keep saying very exciting, and it's probably ridiculous sounding. I probably sound like Alec Baldwin's character from Friends, but just being like everything is so great.
Oh my gosh, that one is wonderful.
But this is really exciting to me, meeting with teachers. It's like an opportunity to not only sort of dig into education, the importance of it and such, but also I've never really had the opportunity to sit with teachers at all different levels and just kind of talk about the things that we're going to talk about. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And we'll be doing some kind of donation stuff geared towards back to school as well that month. So,
Nice.
Yeah, exciting month.
It really is. Well, for me and for us, really, I also wanted to mention that this past weekend we were at Wekiva Island. Thank you guys who joined us out there. We were able to raise some money for the Golden Warrior Festival, as well as one of our other favorite charities, Bags of Hope. We kayaked out there. We grilled out and just had a fun day in the sun. And I did all kinds of filming because that's what I do. Putting together a commercial for Bill and Mary Weinaug for the island because I just really enjoy doing that. And I really believe in what they're doing out there at the island. And just as a matter of sort of one of my interests, and I may have mentioned this before, I really like all the new technology that's coming out with like cameras for recording, not so much still cameras, but, GoPro, it kind of started with everyone having a GoPro. I have a GoPro. It's an older model, but it records well underwater. I have another camera called a Osmo Pocket. It's a little tiny camera with a gimbal on it, so it's very smooth. I have a 360 camera.
You have everything except for a drone.
I know, that's on my list. But I guess I mentioned this because if you happen to be interested in that kind of thing, as I am, I encourage you to go check out my YouTube channel. I make videos of everything we do. We just got back from vacation. I cut it to music. I really dork out. It's almost like a, dare I say this, on the air, but it's almost like a digital scrapbook kind of thing.
That's exactly what it is.
I know. But I really like the special effects you can do with like time lapsing and hyperlapsing and 360 recording, and it makes it all a lot more interesting to watch.
Yeah, you mix a lot of different elements in there, and it's very nice to be able to go back and look at those memories, put to music with little captions on it. It brings photos alive.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And you know what else? To me, it's like, and I encourage everyone to do this. YouTube channels are free. If you're not super worried about the privacy aspect of it, if you are, you can make it totally private and only share it with people via the link. Mine is not that way because I just send links to whenever I want to show people a video. But over the years, you can upload your personal home videos, and it's a cool storage location. If you think about it, it's in the cloud. You can never lose it. If, God forbid, your house burns down, all of your home videos are safe because they're up there in the cloud, stored on YouTube.
Smart thing to do.
We have hundreds of them now. Yeah. And at any given time, we can go to our smart TV or go to your computer, your tablet, your phone, and say, I want to watch the video from way back when we did that trip kayaking in 2014. Yeah. And, so that's a cool thing. And one of the other things that's obviously huge that we mentioned last podcast episode, but I wanted to mention again now that the dust has settled and we've gotten back home. But Angie and I got engaged last week.
Yes, we did.
We're that's still sort of at the forefront of our minds, and
it's new, it's fresh,
whatever.
It's exciting.
Yeah. But we, we're not going to cheese out on here, but we've started talking just a little bit about as we're planning the wedding, and we're not officially planning it yet, but we're starting to talk about some elements. Yeah. So I think we're going to have a really good time with this, which is so uncommon. People get all stressed out. I feel like it's going to be everything else we do together. It's just going to be really different. No stress
at all.
It's going to be very different. It's going to be really fun, and we're just not going to stress about it.
That's right.
I'm excited about that. I lost my voice talking about that.
You did. Oh,
so anyway,
getting all choked up.
Whatever.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, whatever. But I did put the proposal. I totally surprised Angie. I put the proposal video on our YouTube channel for Fine and Dangy. So I'll post a link in the show notes, but I encourage you to go out there and check out the video. She was really surprised, and it's really fun to watch. I think it'd be fun for anybody to watch if you wanted to see,
especially my reaction.
A reaction from somebody. Yeah, I bleeped out the curse words on that one.
It's not a normal reaction.
It's really not. But that's pretty much what's going on with me, what's going on with us. I think that pretty much wraps the beginning here. We have a great interview coming up. It was a really good one. It's a little long, but trust me, if you start listening to it, you're going to love it. So if you hang with us, we'll be right back after this quick break.
Hi, this is Bill Files, the upcoming audiobook narrator of Daniel Fox's awesome thriller, In the Dark. And you're listening to It's All Fine and Dangy.
Hey guys, welcome back. And now it's time for our community call out. I am so excited about our guest today. As we're going through the month talking about local hotspots, we've got a couple with us today. We got two guests today. They are the owners of Wekiva Island in Apopka and the owners of Outriggers, which I believe is in New Smyrna. I have known them both for somewhere around 25 years. So please welcome Bill and Mary Weinaug. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Very cool. We're excited.
Yeah, me too. Very excited. And so I'm obviously going to ask you some questions that I personally know some of the answers to, but I'm excited to kind of share some of this information with our audience and those of you that are listening here. So the first thing I wanted to ask is, and I really don't know the answer to this one, is when did you first think of purchasing Wekiva Island or whatever it was called before it was Wekiva Island?
Oh, wow. So I used to camp with the kids, and actually the mayor of Apopka, Brian Nelson, is a good friend, and he has a cabin up on the Rock Springs Run. And so
we love Rock Springs Run.
Oh, yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. So, and he has a cabin up there in Rock Springs Run, and we used to take the kids up there once a year, hang out at his cabins and have a lot of fun. And King's Landing, right next to it, was something that always intrigued me. So, when the family, the lady that owned King's Landing passed away, I started this idea in my head that I really needed to have a canoe livery, and that was the cool one. And a good friend of mine, Bob Loomis, who now owns the Loomis family funeral home. There in Apopka. Yeah. And I said, God, hey, Loomis, I really want that place. Bob said, leave it alone. You need to go buy the old Wekiwa Marina.
Yep.
I'm like, dude,
what it was called.
It's not even for sale. He goes, well, I know the owners. I'll introduce you to.
Okay.
I'll introduce you to them. So Bob introduced me to a family, a bunch of brothers still owned the property. And the one brother that still lived here in town, actually, they were developers. They developed Earl Estates. So,
I didn't know that. Same people.
Yeah, and so they.
So not to interrupt you, but that was when I'm born in Apopka. So I was literally born in the Apopka Hospital. So I've been here my whole life, going to these places my whole life. The Wekiwa Marina. It was like a little bait and tackle building or something, wasn't it? Is that? Yeah. I get my years mixed up. Is that what was there when you guys bought it?
Long history. You know, it was it was a fishing cabin that was built back in the 60s.
Right.
Probably privately owned.
It was privately owned.
Yeah.
Always. The owner, the guy that built it, Cliff Freeman. Build it for him and his buddies, and they used to go down. It was a great fishing river,
of course.
and they used to come on the weekends and whatever, and it just grew from there. Grew into a big restaurant.
Right.
Got very, very popular, and then it got passed on a couple of times to different owners. The last one that owned it was this family, and he bought it for his boys to hang out there and help. The boys ended up moving all over the country, all over the world. There was one left. So that's who I was negotiating with and actually the negotiation was pretty quick. I said, hey, I'd really like to buy this place. He said, it's not for sale.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. So did you literally just go out there and...
Well, Bob introduced me. Bob Loomis
he got a meeting set up. Okay.
Because Bob didn't want me to mess with his King's Landing deal.
Sure.
He was distracting you.
So he said, you go buy this place. I'm like, Loomis, it's not even for just get away from me, until I get my deal done.
So that was
Until I
maybe,
sign the papers.
Maybe a calculated move or maybe an accidental genius move. I don't know, but that's great.
Well, and then I'm like, I'm like, I can't do this by myself. So I kind of recruited a bunch of my friends and a bunch of us, I talked them all into doing it together. And then somewhere in the middle of that, they all said, you're crazy. This is not a good idea. And so they all left me, and Mary and I I
don't think they're saying that now.
I don't think so.
No kidding.
Yeah, we believed in it. It was a mess when we bought it.
And so I didn't want to be too disparaging because I don't know the relationship you have from the people that you bought it from. But let me just say that growing up in Apopka, It was a restaurant many years ago. It was a kind of a nicer restaurant, or nice-ish. I was kind of a kid. I don't remember. I remember people would feed the raccoons on the roof, which certainly wasn't safe, but I just remember that when I was younger.
Nice.
And I believe that place burned down, right?
Yep, burnt down in
1999.
1999. It burnt down. The restaurant burnt down.
And what was that place? And just
it was a different restaurant over the years. When it burnt down, it was called the Cock of the Walk, I think.
Okay, that one I didn't go to. It was something else.
Alexander's,
It
the
may
Cock
have
of the
been.
Walk, and
it was
the
like
Wekiva
Marina restaurant, I
Yeah.
think, because we found stir sticks in the river with that on it.
Wow, how cool is that's how you found some history about the place.
Well, actually, the gentleman that runs our food truck today, without a paddle cafe.
Yep.
He was the manager for what was it? It was called Wekiva. I think it was when it was the Wekiva Marina restaurant.
Wow.
He was the manager of the place.
Well, I think it might have been Alexander's. I think it was one name, but what I started to get at is I just remember, and I can't remember in the timeline if it was before or after that, but it was a dive. It was a place you wouldn't bring your kids. It was a place that you really wouldn't go unless you were somebody that specifically liked that spot. So when I heard that you had bought it, and I thought, wow, you have a lot of work to do.
So the initial vision that you had for the place, is it anywhere similar to where you have ended now?
Well, our vision, so we took this project on because it's a very, very long story. So let me try
It's an interesting story.
It's very interesting.
Let me try to do it
I
as quick
think
as I can.
anybody local here would really appreciate knowing the kind of the history behind it.
Okay, so I am an engineer. I understand that the buildings we design and build are very impactful to the planet. So we've had this mission to be carbon neutral in our personal lives forever. And Dan, you saw some of that.
I did.
We, at the office, we started buying wind power. We had a program at the office where we gave $5,000 if you bought a eco car and things like that.
Oh, wow.
So that all kind of came from me because I had this very deep passion to want to become carbon neutral.
And Mary was on board with this? You were kind of...
Boy, yes.
You were on board with, the changes that,
Well, I was
you would
kind
have to
of-
make?
I was kind of a catalyst in this, I think. In 2007, Sears and CBS were doing a contest and giving away money to 5 national winners, and we ended up being one of the 5 national winners.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, you could Google it. If you type in Google clean and green, you will see this old video.
Very
now,
cool.
It's a funny story because my wife said,
I want to do a video.
we're living we're trying really hard to become carbon neutral. We cut our footprint from thousands down to like tens,
Wow.
our personal footprint.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were doing everything we could to bring it down. And this clean and green thing came, and Mary said, I really want to tell our story. She said, would you help me put together something? So I wrote her a narrative of a story. It was like maybe 10 pages.
No. I read the narrative and it took me 15 minutes to read it.
Yeah.
I needed like a 2 or 3 minute video.
She said, I don't want this narrative. I want to do a little video. I said, well, I storybooked the whole video for you. Here's the story here.
Like a commercial, Bill.
Like a
Come on.
PowerPoint presentation?
No. It was a written narrative. It had photos and all that.
Oh,
in it.
nice.
So we both submitted.
Oh, no. She said, I'm going to do my own. I said, I spent hours putting this thing together for you and you're not going to use it?
Right.
She says, no, I'm going to make my own now. So she made her own video and I said, what am I going to do with this like 8 hours I put into this narrative? I just folded it up and mailed it to him.
Right.
I won.
He got the phone call.
Did you really?
See, I
my
thought this was
gosh.
going somewhere else.
I thought so too.
She was a little upset about that, and I think that was almost in our past. But thanks to you guys,
we brought it back up again.
That was good.
You're
Thank you. I
welcome.
really appreciate that. But so anyway, we had this very deep passion to try to become carbon neutral. In this clean and green thing, we found that the world really didn't care.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they made fun of us. You would read some of the internet, comments. And this was how many years ago?
12.
This is
12
before
years
it
ago.
became kind of mainstream.
Yeah, so you'd read some of the comments, and I said, God, it just really tore my heart out. And so at the same time, that whole Loomis thing was going on.
Right.
And so we had decided that maybe instead of trying to do something at our house and live this green life that nobody cared about, what if we created this incredible, awesome environmental center that was carbon neutral, that people could come down there, have fun, and figure out that this is important. So that's the real reason we're there. The background story was always we wanted to create this carbon neutral venue. It's really, and I say it's kind of like this environmental center, but it's not fueled on taxpayers' dollars.
Right.
It's fueled on fun. And you know what fun is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fuel is fun. People come down there and we hope that they stumble across something that will make them change their lives. And I tell you what, over the last 10 years, we see it all the time, and it's really exciting. We see moms standing at some of the illustrative displays we got that explain things about the natures and what's going on, and they're explaining it to their kids. We hear people tell us, Bill and Mary, you know what? You do all this stuff down here. We decided as a family we could do that too. So we hear stories about that all the time.
That's great.
And it's really cool. So
that is amazing.
That's the reason we're there.
So, we focus heavily on like charity and helping other people. That's how you're helping other people. Because you guys are having an influence on them. They're coming to have a fun day, but they're seeing something like that and they're taking it and applying it to their lives. That's making a change.
Yep.
So beyond the sort of financial success of the island, that has to be insanely fulfilling, if not the most fulfilling thing about having it out there.
Well, so here's the thing about the island too. The business is incredibly awesome in the summertime, but we're limited.
Yeah.
So we've got so many people, so many cars. We've got lots of rules because we're on this incredible place. So the rules are good and we respect them. But so we have this limit, but during the, quarters 2, quarters 3, we do fairly well. But during quarters 4 and quarter 1, we lose money.
So
that's more the winter months.
Yeah. At a much smaller scale. When we first started doing the podcast and we were focusing on charity and community, when we first started getting emails and feedback that, I started a food drive at work because you guys did the thing over the weekend. For me, that feels good.
Yeah. Because we feel like we're just doing a little bit of something.
Right.
We're not doing as much as so many other people, are out there doing. But to hear that because
somebody's doing something because of what you're doing,
that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So and that was always our mission, and it's still there.
Yeah.
And we still have this mission to become carbon neutral. We're getting closer. There's a lot of math behind it. Remember, I said I'm an engineer, so
sure.
I do the math.
So what are some of the things you do at the island to reduce that carbon footprint?
Mary? Well, okay, I'll start.
Mary gets to talk sometimes.
Mary can chime in, but I'll start. So actually through work, and I actually trademarked this because I believe in it so much. I created this toolbox. It's an acronym. It's called SERO, C-E-R-O, which is zero in Spanish, of course. So SERO, but C-E-R-O stands for conservation, efficiency, renewables, and offset. So, and I call it a toolbox because underneath each one of those categories, there's a whole list of things that we could do. So like conservation, the thing is don't consume. So we have an outdoor bar. When you want to cool off, you jump into the river. The river's 70 degrees year round. It's a special place on the planet.
Don't have to have a pool at home.
No other place like it. You jump in the river, you get chilled and immediately. It could be 110 degrees out. You jump in the river, you are comfortable.
Right.
So, that's conservation, and efficiency is pretty easy. Renewal, you just do as much as you can to minimize your consumption when you consume.
Mm-hmm.
What's the offset? That's the one I don't get.
Okay, renewables, solar, offsets. So our mission is to become carbon neutral, and it's really difficult to do at any one single place.
Right.
So offsets are when you read what our offset program is. You can buy offsets online. You could have somebody plant trees in the Amazon for you, and you could get credit for those trees. Our offset program is driven around community. Like, for instance, if you go to St. Francis Church in Apopka off of 441, on the roof of the church is a whole bunch of solar panels.
Right.
So the church gets a lower electric bill, and we take credit for those offsets. So that's a community project. We put the solar panels up there for the church. I paid for those. And the island takes credit for the offset. So that's kind of like, you reach, and I talk about that a lot. Matter of fact,
that's a great thing for people to know that I never knew something like that was possible. I mean, I'm sure you could buy it for somebody and gift it to them, but I didn't know that the offset is,
Well, and that's kind of like part of the magic of SERO. The O is to kind of like not just kind of turn your heads on the community, because the whole carbon issue is an issue that is a global issue.
Sure.
So of course we've got issues here locally.
Yeah.
But
it's not just here.
But what we are doing globally is horrific, and we're leaving that for our children, and that's really the whole passion behind the island.
So that stuff goes, a lot deeper than most people, are getting into when it comes to, lessening their carbon footprint. But at the island, you have things like recycle bins and stuff like that set up. What things do you teach your staff to do to make sure that you are kind of, that everybody's on board with that?
Well, so next to each trash can is a recycle bin. And if you watch everybody walk up to them, they just take it and throw it in like the trash can. So for 10 years, we have gone through every single trash bag, pulling out the recyclables.
Put them back in the...
It's funny because we had a cabana there this past weekend, and I had to do the same thing. I'm like, guys...
Doesn't it make you wonder... I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent for a minute, but what you said kind of struck me, Bill, and doesn't it make you wonder, why isn't it not only illegal to not recycle, but why isn't there a insane fine? I've been saying for years,
well, there is in some places.
If it was $100, if a policeman caught you throwing a plastic bottle in a garbage can, it wouldn't take long before nobody would do it.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, you go to New York State. New York State has recycling laws, and they actually they don't tax.
If you look on this bottle, 10 cents.
Yeah. Oh, for New York.
Yeah.
Okay, so they put a bounty in New York. They put a bounty on every bottle. So you pay maybe an extra 10 cents for a bottle. So that bottle is worth 10 cents.
Yeah.
People don't throw them away up there.
Well, I grew up in Michigan, and we used to collect the cans and the beer bottles because as kids, they would let us do that and take it and turn it into the store, and we go buy our candy or whatever with it.
Yeah, we
don't
had
do
that
that here.
Well, we had that something similar here, at least with the cans. You could crunch cans for aluminum or whatever, but I guess that's a positive reinforcement versus negative reinforcement. And I was just thinking that, not to go negative, but if there was a really big penalty for just...
Or instead of a penalty... put a bounty on it. It's a reward.
That's the positive reinforcement.
It's a reward.
So we turn it positive.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
But what happens down at the island is, like Mary said, people miss the right can, but that's okay. They watch us.
Yeah.
Separate them. And that's one of the stories I told you about. One of the families came up to us and they said, we see what you guys do, and that has inspired us.
And you got the staff there digging in the garbage to get the recycles out.
Well, before I get the next question, what's interesting to me about the church thing is I didn't know you guys did that. Is there anywhere where someone can read or find out all these things that you're doing? Is it on the website?
We have a lot of this on the website, but I mean, we're trying to do this through action, so we're not necessarily... You're
not tooting your horn.
Right.
Tooting our horn a little bit.
Like I respect that. Sure.
Our social media people, they're saying, well, you should do more of this. And the guy's honest truth is I just hired a young lady by the name of Joelle Laborde to actually be our advocate and to start helping us move the needle. Up to the last 10 years, I've really been fighting for the right to stay there and fighting for the right to have more people enjoy the island and kind of enjoy the river more.
Yeah. And I get
so I like also how you said that you want people to be able to come and enjoy the river, enjoy what was put there really for us to, for us to take part in, not to be, a privacy fence put up and nobody's allowed in here because this is mine. You are embracing the community and trying to get them to have something, in nature to do.
Sure.
Because so many people are stuck inside and, doing things that aren't like
agree.
that.
And I agree. And I think, I think I get what you're saying, Bill. There's a fine line between sort of the value in the community knowing that you guys are doing all this effort and feeling like that you're advertising that you're doing it and that's why you're doing it, so people know. So I get what you're saying. You're trying not to be about sort of tooting your own horn, but I still think that if you're someone that is conscious about what's happening to the environment, knowing that people like you guys are doing above and beyond your own out there, it would make me want to bring more business to you anyway. So it's tricky.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the kind of, okay, so let me say this. Like an environmental center, a true environmental center, all the people that get it and know we have an issue, they go there. The folks that don't understand yet might not go there because they want to go somewhere else and have fun. So that's really what we built this place for.
Yeah.
Is so that they could come and stumble across the truth.
Yeah.
And believe in it.
Sure.
And then the next year they're going to take their kids to the real environmental center. So that's part of the mission.
That's awesome.
So before we leave that question, there's 2 other things that are big that we do. Our cups that we serve our beer out of are corn. And yes, we want you to reuse them.
Yes.
Because it's all about...
Oh, take it back up to the bar and get... Oh,
refill
I didn't know that.
I mean, some people like to collect them and have like 10 cups. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
Are you taking that home and reusing it?
I know you got something else you want to say, but on that one right there, when we go out somewhere and we order a beer or whatever, a drink, and then she orders another one, she's like, no, use this. And they're like, no, it's our policy. We have to give you a new plastic cup.
I would say to bring me glass.
Reuse your cup.
Yeah.
Wow.
We use paper straws too, correct?
We do.
I love it.
And then the other thing we do is in the men's restrooms, we have 2 waterless urinals, and those save 40,000 gallons of water each a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Wow, that's a lot of... It tells you how much water we're wasting everywhere else.
Yeah.
Well, so there's another mission down there. So I talked a lot about carbon, but what Mary's getting to on that water side too is there is this water mission. So we also have the whole SERO thing when it comes to water. We collect rainwater. All the water closet flush is from rainwater cisterns. So you'll see cisterns around there. But so there's this big mission for water. And now that is truly a local struggle that we have with the river. The river right now is dying from the phosphates and the nitrates that we put in what's called the spring shed. So the water that bubbles up out of the ground today, Dan, is totally different than the water that bubbled up out of the ground when you were a kid out there. The water coming out of the ground is heavily polluted with nitrates, and that's why there's such a bad algae problem.
And in Florida, it's really bad because of all the nurseries we have.
Now, when you say the water coming up out of the ground, you mean from wells?
The spring.
The spring. Because it trickles down. Only, and you have like the bedrock and the limestone and stuff. Only so much of that can filter out.
How crazy is that? And this is going to make me sound ignorant, but how crazy is it that you think that water coming out of a spring is going to be clean, natural, and healthy?
So Florida is got a very, very specific and unique geological foundation under our ground. It's called karst. So it's not necessarily filtering through the sand like it does everywhere else in the world and through the earth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Actually, what happens is there's all these cracks in the limestone, and all these cracks as water flows through the cracks, the limestone melts and the cracks get bigger. So we have huge underground rivers under our feet, but it's not like a single river. It is a network of cracks and rivers and caves and canyons. And so what happens in a lot of places, what you put in the ground here gets into this pipe. It's a crack. It's a karst. And the pipelines are connected directly to the springs. That's why the springs are there.
Right.
And this is a very unique place on the planet. It doesn't happen anywhere else except for here in Central Florida. So we have
Central Florida.
Yep. We have over 30 springs that feed the Wekiva. So there's 30 of these openings, cracks from the ground. That water is coming directly from somewhere.
Wow.
From a pipe that Mother Nature built for us. And so that's the problem. It doesn't have a chance to actually be filtered like it does in other places around the country.
But people come down there and they blame us for the color of the water.
Oh,
which is like the color of coffee. So if you live if you live anywhere from Ocala to South Orlando, what you put in your yard or down your toilet or whatever
You're
affects
contributing.
our water.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
If you want the water to be pretty and crystal clear and blue,
And you live Ocala to South Orlando, then you need to care.
Think about it at home.
Let me
That's
make
right.
a plug for this
We're all
right now.
responsible.
Yeah, do it.
We're
Of
all
course.
responsible.
So there is a group that we just recently formed, probably 2-3 months ago. It's called the Wekiva Springs Alliance. That is actually a group of folks that really care and really want to try to make a difference with the water that's flowing under our feet.
Yeah. And, I think it's for people listening, if you don't, most people that live around this area know what Wekiva Island is, but we have listeners that are all over. So if they ever come to Florida and they want to visit, it's important that they know these things. I think even just, coming to visit, how can they make a little bit of a difference, even where they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is going to switch gears just a little bit, but I'm just really curious because, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of the island. What you guys have done with it, from someone that was born and raised here, it's gone from being sort of semi kind of nice to being totally a place you never want to go to being like a resort almost. So can you take us through the process, maybe at a high level, of how you started to become, when did you guys notice it was sort of becoming a local hotspot? Did that happen like immediately? Did you have to do a lot of marketing? Did it just explode right out of the chute? Mary, take us
I'm
through that.
very interested in that.
Well, as soon as he cleaned it up, like the bathrooms were cleaned up and the cabanas went up. I mean, that's like when it totally made a turn.
That's
like
crazy.
almost right away. So you probably felt confident that you'd made a pretty good decision right away.
It was a dive.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, as far as just people starting to come all of a sudden.
So there were people coming there, could they drink down there before?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's
So they
always
were
had
coming there, right, to do that anyway. And then when they actually saw somebody put some effort into care a little, like, wow, okay.
I don't know. When we bought the place, I don't know if a lot of people, now you could buy a beer at the bar, at the canoe livery window. When I bought the place, they had a cooler in the back where they had beers, they sold them, but people did not come and hang out down there.
Yeah.
They would come and they would rent canoes and go down river,
And
come back, maybe
off.
buy a beer, and that was it. So it wasn't really, it went from that it was a hot spot, 30 years ago.
For maybe
to,
people fishing or,
Yeah.
So did it have a bar area or did you put that bar area up pretty much immediately?
The building was there. So the building that was there was the cabin that the Freedmans built way back in the 50s, 60s.
Is that the current building with the bar in it?
It's the same footprint.
Okay, same footprint.
So let me tell you this, though. The fishing camp that used to be there had members, and one of the members of the camp on the Wekiva was Roy Rogers.
Really?
Roy Rogers used to come to Central Florida, and you could look this up in the.
He did. He stayed at the hotel that we stay at for our
The Edgewater?
the Edgewater.
Wow.
Yeah, so Roy Rogers used to come here when back before Disney because he wanted to build a Wild Wild West theme park, and the Wild Wild West theme park, his dream was across the river from the Wekiva where we're at right now. So he used to come out and hang out down there, and it was kind of like back in the day that was out the end of a dirt road way in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
Which it isn't today. It's on the edge of that. But before it was a long dirt road trip to get there. So anyway, kind of cool story. But back when did that building burn down? Our building. When we bought it, we had three arson fires down there. So
somebody torched our dumpster. It was like February 2009, shortly after we bought it.
Wow.
Somebody sent us a message, and I was too stupid to hear the message. And then
And then the bar building burned down 10/14/13.
Yeah.
October 14th,
I remember that.
2013.
Wow. Good memory, by the way. Wow. I remember that.
And so what happened is when the bar building burnt down, we were a little devastated because we
You don't realize how devastating a fire is until it happens to you, and you see it on the news all the time.
Of course.
Somebody's house burned down, somebody's business burned,
horrific.
and it's like you really feel for them.
It's total loss, pretty much, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was. And I tell you what, a lot of incredible, great friends. I sat there crying, holding my head, and my phone was ringing off the hook. Randy Suggs, Randy.
Yep.
good old Apopka boy.
Of course, I went to school with Jeff. Yep.
So he comes down and says, "Hey, dude, don't worry about this. You just got to get rid of this crap." He said, I'm going to come down here with my equipment and and we're going to get rid of all this. You cannot sit here and look at this.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay. Okay. He went and got a demo permit.
He was like in action.
The next day,
wow.
It was gone.
Oh my God.
He came down with all of his equipment and took that away so I didn't have to look at it.
It's almost like he wanted you to start fresh. Okay.
Yep.
That's
And then I have good friends, being in the business and we design a lot of theme parks. I have really, really good friends that said, they called and said, "Hey, we're going to have a raising party. We're going to come down and rebuild your bar." And that's actually, the Nassel company that does all of the Disney work, SeaWorld work, the Universal work. They're the themed contractor guys. They said that we're going to rebuild your bar. I'm like, dudes, I can't afford you. They're like, no, you don't understand. We're going to do this for you. We're going to handle it.
Wow.
And they came down.
That's really great.
And so only because of these incredible friends that I have, I'm able to have that place there today. And I'm definitely indebted to those good friends.
Wow.
And they probably don't feel that way at all. That's the thing. Because people that do stuff like that, they don't feel like you're indebted to them at all.
Wow. That's a touching story. It's hard to shift gears on that one. So, two shift gears though. I've seen you guys in the news, in print. You've been sort of featured in a lot of places. Can you tell us about some of these places that have sort of come out and talked to you guys, Mary?
Sure.
Well, Mary's in charge of that.
Yeah.
That's her part of our business here. So,
Right.
Mary, go ahead.
Well, we've been on to Travel Channel for secret swimming holes. Top 10 secret swimming holes in the United States.
Top 10 secret swimming holes in the U.S. and Wekiva Islands there. It's pretty damn cool.
That's cool.
So they picked up the park, and then they picked up us as well. So when they leave the park, they come down and, what is this?
Oh, yeah.
So we were like number 7 and 8 of the 10, I believe.
So I'll try to find that on YouTube and put a link in the show notes to that because I'd like to see it myself.
It's cool because I get a random call. "Oh my God, I just saw you on the Travel Channel." And I'm like, oh, they must be airing it again.
Yeah. Wow. That's great.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen you on local news a few
Local
times.
news.
Your buddy.
Chad Crawford, How to Do Florida.
Oh,
Picked
wow.
us up as well. With our Paint Out, we've been advertising, and we've done it through News 6, WKMG.
Yes.
CBS is just like my favorite channel, so I tend to reach out to them. Yeah.
You can come and interview us.
Actually, I'd put a plug in for them
Well,
because
they've been very good to us, and not all the TV stations have.
We have news people come down and tell me, "No, we're going to do a good story about you," and then they twist it around to a bad thing.
We had one ask him 10 questions.
Same question 10 times.
And the 10th time, he goes, "How do you want me to answer that?" And that's what they aired.
Yeah.
After he'd answered it 9 times, exactly the same.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Channel 6 is...
They've been very good to us.
Been very fair.
Eric Von Enken came out and did an interview, interviewed Fred, who was one of our employees who knows a lot about the river and the environment. And he goes, "I promise I will stick to the script." And he kept his word. So.
Yeah, good. So those are the
Super
ones
nice
that
guy.
you want to come out. Yeah. So you just said that you do the Paint Out down at the island. What other kind of events take place down there that you do throughout the year and what do you do them for? Do you do them, to support someone local, to just bring more people in to have something to do? Like, why are you hosting
All of
those
the above.
events? Yeah.
So the Wekiva Paint Out benefits Keep Seminole Beautiful and Wekiva Wilderness Trust. And we both protect the river. We do cleanups. So I'm the executive director of Keep Seminole Beautiful, but we do the cleanups through Wekiva Island every month. And actually, we, on average, do about 2 a month. But
that's cool.
Per our development order with the county, we have to do 12. But we end up doing about a dozen more.
12 a month or 12 a year?
12 a year.
12 a year.
But we end up doing about 24.
Oh, wow.
She does a cleanup out of the Wekiva River Falls.
Wekiva Falls.
Once a month, too. So every 2 weeks,
wow.
she's got a river cleanup. Now, that's Keep Seminole Beautiful. So the Paint Out, is a fundraiser for Keep Seminole Beautiful. They do so much great stuff. Not just the rivers that they clean up, but also the parks.
Yeah.
And she's
Road
the
cleanups.
executive director of that organization has also made me pick up cigarettes at intersections off the,
love it.
on the
Yeah.
roads.
So what is the paint out? I mean, obviously people can figure out kind of what it is, but what is the paint out?
So it's an invitational. So we invite artists. So anywhere between 25 and 35 artists from around the country or the world. And they come down and paint at the island, in the state park, down the river, all over, wherever they want. And then we hang their art for sale.
So it's called Plein Air.
And they paint outside.
The Plein Air.
That's cool.
And Plein Air is a French movement and a French approach. So they come with empty canvas. They are there for a week and they paint in the wild. So they might be standing in a river or a swamp, but that's what they do. They go out there and
They pick their spot. I've been to the paint out. It's amazing.
So you can come and watch them painting.
Absolutely. You
and
could
then,
buy it right off their easel if you wanted to.
And then do you do a final kind of,
We have events
show for
throughout
them?
the week.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's hung. They come with one piece to hang, and then one night during the week we have an auction. Another night we have a sunset paint in. But they paint
cool.
all week, and we feed them all their meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we try to get the community involved in that. BurgerFi or Positanos or whoever
of
to
course.
donate a meal and bring it down there.
That is pretty cool. How many painters do you normally, or how many artists do you normally have?
Somewhere between 25 and 35. We've lowered the number because we're trying to have the artists sell more art. If you have a lot of artists, then you're spreading it.
Yeah.
Thinner.
And they're looking forward to that, making a living
and
too.
They love it.
Yeah.
They stay in
of
the
course.
state park in the cabins. We get the cabins, the whole
Oh, that's cool.
section, what you call it.
That's like a vacation.
kids
for them.
camp.
Like the kids camp. And, we can put 1 to 4 artists per cabin. And they stay out there, and it's like a vacation for them. So they're out there. They're up at 5 o'clock and painting.
It's kind of cool for the artists because our paint out is special. And it's kind of like it's a paint out for the artist. And they actually, because they all stay together in the camp, they get to collaborate.
Yeah.
So they get to talk about techniques. And so like, one of my good friends,
great.
Michael Wintermantle, who painted this painting behind you here, he started painting on copper. Because one of the artists was painting on copper, shared her technique, and he now paints a lot on copper. So
I think that's really cool when people paint on the different metals.
Oh, I do too.
I love it.
Bill just answered my question because I was going to ask, we're surrounded by awesome art in this room. Is this all from the paint out?
That one is not, but this was the last cover art. That's Scott Heastand.
Yeah, it's scattered.
And those are the sandhill cranes. I love the sandhill cranes.
So we also help with a paint out over in New Smyrna Beach. It used to be called the the Canaveral Seashore paint out, and Mary renamed that the New Smyrna Beach paint out.
So simplify, yeah.
Some of this art is from the New Smyrna Beach paint out as well. But,
wow, that's great.
So neat thing coming up at the Wekiva Island. The second floor that you see up there all the time, we just got approval to turn that into a art gallery, and we have a lot of art scattered around.
Sure,
we're gonna move a lot of that in there. We have a lot of good friends that are artists that want to show their art in there, so it's going to become this incredible, awesome art gallery that you will be able to come and see some of the past paint out works. And also, you could, possibly even rent the space and hang out in the art and have a function up there. It's going to be a beautiful
very
space.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have any local talent come? And because we've been there before when you had like
music
or just in the little wine bar. Most people don't know that you guys have like a very loungy.
That's
cool
our favorite part of
section
kayaking,
to hang out in.
Every Friday and Saturday night is the music. But I want to go back to the events.
Yep.
Okay. I want more events. Yes.
So another one we do
we
every
got to
year.
talk about that.
Yeah,
we got to talk about that too.
We're getting away from our questions.
No, it's good stuff.
So another event we have every year is the second weekend in November, the Green Egg Fest.
Oh, cool event.
Central Florida Egg Fest.
I have not.
So the big green ceramic eggs.
Yeah.
So Peter Weller puts this on, and this is going to be year 4 or 5. But I think his goal is to bring 50 eggs. So he pre-sells the eggs. The people come down, bring their food, and cook on it. You buy a ticket. So it's $25 per ticket.
But if you buy an egg, you get in, right?
Maybe. I'll have to verify that.
I would hope
you get to go from egg to egg and nibble on Somebody might make cakes on it. Somebody might make pizzas.
And here's the neat thing about this event. So if you're going to buy an egg and you're wondering, God, how am I going to cook on this egg? There are 50 people. They are there to share their techniques with you.
They want to teach you.
So you go there and you
cool.
ask them, how are you making a cake on this thing? Oh, let me tell you about it. And they want to tell you the recipes.
Oh, I love it.
And so
that's awesome.
It is one of my favorite.
So do we
events
call
down here.
you don't call it the Taste of Wekiva Island?
No, that would be good though.
It's called the egg. It's
I'll
Big
have to
Green
look it
Egg
up.
Fest.
Yeah.
It's the 9th. It's a Saturday. It's from 9 to 4. And that also benefits Keep Seminole Beautiful.
Love it.
And then the other event, we have a Halloween party every year, which is the last Saturday.
How come we haven't been there?
I don't know. You haven't
What
heard
is the
about
matter
it.
with us?
You haven't heard about it. Now you
Don't wait for my invite.
Yeah, we know now, so we'll be there this year. All right, when is that this year?
October 26th. Yes. And White Claw is our big sponsor for that.
Oh, cool.
So then we do other things throughout the year. We've got the
Winter Wonderland was my last one.
That's a
Christmas.
Yeah.
So, and you can go ahead and talk about this one, but we bring in this snow slide for the kids.
Oh my gosh.
And then we play movies every Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
There's a full schedule. We have the Grinch and maybe
My favorite.
Buddy the Elf.
The real Grinch. He eats onions.
Yeah.
Raw onions. He's
All the
there.
Grinches are my. Oh, the Grinch is there.
The Grinch
He's
is
the
there.
real
Oh, you have
Grinch.
him in costume there. Oh my
awesome.
god, that's
Oh,
amazing.
he's not in costume.
awesome.
He is really the Grinch.
Yeah,
got
I've seen their
stilt
pictures on
walkers and-
social media. It's crazy.
We do the snow and all that. It's really cool.
So
it's a great month.
we actually
That's
ship
cool.
in. I think last year we had 70 tons of snow brought in.
Wow.
So we build a big slide for
little
the
slides. Yeah.
so the kids can, I was lucky enough to grow up, or maybe not as lucky, but to grow up north. And so I got
up in Michigan.
to experience the snow. And so the neat thing is the kids get to come and sled on real snow down here. And that's, I think, a gift to the community.
Oh, of
It
course.
really is, because a lot of kids are never going to see it.
And we have snow flurries every night. So we got the big fake.
That is so
we
cool.
also have fake snow. So we have big, snow flurries every night. And then we have Santa that comes. Matter of fact, one of the most Googled Santa clips on the internet is Santa. Did you saw that one?
Can I guess? Is it Santa falling in the river?
Yes.
I did see that.
That did not really
So
happen.
MTV Ridiculousness picked it up.
Yeah.
It really happened.
Yeah.
He stepped off the end of the dock talking to somebody
Well, there's a little jog in the dock.
Oh.
So what he was seeing at his peripheral was the wider part of it.
Oh, my gosh.
And when he went to step back, he was still on the short part of it. So he went right in.
Well, he was okay and it was hilarious. So it was worth it.
Yeah, as long as he didn't get hurt, everything is okay.
And so another, I wanted to say news company that's good to us is Fox 35.
Yes.
And they actually come out and do, David Martin comes out and does.
I think that's who I saw, where I saw the snow and the sleds and all that stuff for you guys as well. Yeah. So I'd love to go to that. And we definitely, Angie and I are committing to come to your Halloween party for sure.
Well, both. You need to come to both, but come do the slide. If it's raining out, that's the time
It's
to
indoors.
come.
Yeah.
It's covered.
It's like,
You're not going to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I have lots.
You'll have it to
I have
yourself.
lots of nieces and nephews too that would appreciate that.
Surely.
So, I can spend some time with them.
Oh, we do other little events throughout the year too, like where we did the Crawfish Festival.
So
Crawfish.
what do you call that?
Mardi Gras?
Yes. Thank you very much. Jeez, we should know that. But we have this most incredible crawfish cooker that a good friend has that we borrow from another good friend, and we make hundreds and hundreds of pounds of crawfish.
Like a crawfish boil.
Oh my God.
When is this?
Mardi Gras.
It's
Mardi
like
Gras.
usually in February.
January,
awesome.
February, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let me say
Write that
this.
down.
So let me say this. During quarters 4 and quarters 1 for 6 months, we pretty much have something going on in those 6 months. And,
Yeah,
and
that's
if
when
you,
we try to do our events to bring more people down.
Yeah, because in the summer, people are going to be
You
there.
can't get in.
Yeah.
if you go to www.wekivaisland.com.
Please don't say that.
My wife hates that.
Look, if you just scroll down on your
Plug
device,
yourself,
I'll have the link in
baby.
the show notes.
But if
WekivaIsland.com.
we have a calendar in which we keep up, and the calendar, Carrie Vanderhoff, who actually runs our general store and the wine bar and all that, I have somehow inspired her to make sure that this calendar is beautiful. So it's kind of a sexy calendar, but it's also very, very informative. So check it out sometime. So go to our website, hit calendar, and you'll see who's playing music. You'll see what events are coming up.
Well, it makes people interested.
Well, there's not events every single day, so she's got tips about otters, about recycling. About
that's great.
Sure.
Everything, you name it.
I consider myself kind of a local at the island, and I didn't even know about some of these events. So that's exciting. It's a lot more events than I thought, too.
Well, those are our bigger events. But, Carrie's in charge of putting the events together.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and she's really good at it.
Yeah.
Every week, and you should know about this, every Wednesday we try to have something special going on, and so there's a couple of Wednesdays out of the month that it's really special. We still do the wine and paints. What day, is that? The second?
That's the first Wednesday of the month.
So we do
date night.
Wine and paint. The island, we have a couple of pillars. One's sustainability, which we talked about, right? One is learning. This is why we have a classroom down there. And one is art. This is why we've got so much art woven into the fabric of the island.
Yes.
So at the first Wednesday of every month, we have one of the most incredible local artists we can find. And we have obviously we're connected to the art community, but they come down and they give a class on how to paint. But you sit there and drink glasses of wine. We pull out nice wine, and it's a incredible, beautiful date night. But then again,
Gary makes like a charcuterie board to munch on.
Our food guys do food, and that's kind of cool. First Wednesday. Now, the third Wednesday of every month, we have something we call a tap takeover. So inside the wine bar, we have 6 taps that are not the same taps every time you go in there. Every month we have a different brewery. Usually there's some kind of green or sustainable or some kind of moving story. And they take over the taps for the month. They put their best 6 beers. And the cool thing about that is breweries sometimes don't make the same stuff all the time. And we're looking for incredible crafts to be in there.
Yeah.
So the craft beer people in Central Florida have actually found this, what we call the Brew Review. Third Wednesday, right?
Second Wednesday.
Oh, excuse me. Second Wednesday of every month, we have a new craft beer group come in. The brewer usually comes in, talks about his craft and what he's done, and they come and they pair with our food truck guy. Gary makes food to match with the beer,
Wow.
and they pair food, and it's a lot of fun. It's a ticket. You buy it online. There's so many spots, but kind of a cool thing that happens all year long. That's every month that happens.
You guys are really bringing a certain level of class to the island.
Really are. And I don't want to piggyback on that and sound snooty, but between
you can sound that way. It's okay.
The beer crafting event, the wine and paint event, those 2 events sound more exciting and interesting to me than anything else that we do there, which I already like. So that's very cool to know about either one of those things.
So let me tell you about a big one that's coming up, a brew review. You know Russ Hyken personally. Russ Hyken used to be a partner of mine in the engineering business we had. So I've gone off and started this, this bar thing where I sell beer. Russ is actually one of the major investors in the Ivanhoe Brewery downtown.
Right.
And we're going to have his beer at our, what month is it? September, I think.
I thought it was August, but maybe it's September.
I don't think it's August. I think it's September, but we'll have to give you the real date. Russ's beer is going to be there, and we're going to really blow this up because he's making beer. I'm selling beer. He used to be when I graduated from Penn State back in 81, Russ and I lived together in Jacksonville, Florida for many, many years. We worked for the same company. They shipped me to Orlando to head up the Orlando office. It was an architectural group. They shipped Russ up to North Carolina to head up an office up there. And we somehow stumbled back together and started the engineering company together with some other good friends, Bill Beckman and all those.
That was the company I joined 25 years ago.
That's a cool story.
It really is. Well, so you guys have to tell us, like, those kinds of things you don't know the details on. Come back and let us know, because we'll put it in the next show as a part of our information station thing at the end.
It's not August, so it must be September.
Yeah, good.
And I'll put a link directly to the calendar as well at the bottom of the show notes. You can just scroll down and click.
Since you guys do something, the brew review is what you call it every month, right?
Yep.
In October, we're actually doing Halloween and hops. That's our theme for the month. So we're going to interview local breweries or hops farms, because I told you Dan's brother and their neighbors, the Foxes.
Yep,
told,
and we're going
told
to
Bill that story.
That business?
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he is.
so cool.
He's the one that put all the lights up.
He's
and
built it. Yeah,
he's the one that tells you everything you need to know about hops.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Good.
pretty interesting.
So we
we're gonna
got to
interview
connect him with Russ, because Russ buys hops
certainly.
now. So if they could do a beer with local hops, because they're brewing it here in Orlando.
And these are fresh hops too. A lot of people buy dried hops. So this is what's really
That's cool.
It's unique too. It's
They
beautiful.
have
You
the
have to see
largest
it.
hops farm in Central Florida.
I'm sure they do, because there's probably not a lot of them.
Well, still,
not.
I mean, they're right
Yeah.
out of the chute.
That sounds pretty good on the resume, though. You know.
And one of our, we haven't mapped out all the details yet, or even really talked to them about it, especially if they hear this. But one of the, we're doing mostly local, but there is one we're doing from North Carolina.
Yeah.
That is Sideways Farms.
We've been there.
We have.
Oh,
we
have
haven't
you
been there
really?
yet.
John Snyder.
Yeah,
Yes.
we cannot wait to go there.
Oh, dude, are you going there?
Don't ruin anything for us.
We're definitely
I'm
going
excited.
there, but we want to have John and Carrie call in during our October month. I would love to go. We're still working out details.
We're going to try to go in October.
I love going
Yeah.
up to North Carolina in the winter.
Oh, that's a great beer place. But
This one does it.
I tell you what, his place
I'd like to go more tropical, please.
incredible.
Is it?
Oh, it is a lovely place, and John's a lovely person.
Yeah.
It's just
we love that area so
Yep.
much.
cool. I'm excited about that one. That's
Me
cool.
too. I'm so happy for their success
So
too.
hopefully they will be on the show in October. That's what we're hoping for.
All right, so we're in the home stretch here, guys. I wanted to give a couple of minutes to let you
Wait, I
tell us.
don't want to end. This is too much fun.
I know,
Let's
it
just
is
keep going. Jeez Louise. How long is this podcast anyway?
It's usually about an hour long.
Oh, good.
But can you take a minute to tell us a little bit about your team out at the island? Because we've noticed the times we've been out there that everyone is super friendly, super efficient. I don't know if you guys just got really lucky or if you have a very strict policy on who you have join the team, but I thought you might take a few minutes and tell us a little bit about your team out there.
I don't know. You want me to start, Mary?
Sure.
Okay. So
It's a lot of family.
I was just going to say that.
Oh, that's the trick.
Yeah.
So there is it really is a family business.
Yeah.
And the neat thing about working with family is you could trust them with your heart and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually is probably 99% of our success out there is because I don't have to babysit or be out there every moment.
Right.
My family is there. My wife is there a lot. My sisters are there. My niece is there. My nephew is there. I have my godchildren. Steve Logan, his godchild.
Oh, sure.
My godchild.
Steve Logan works there.
Steve
Yeah,
Logan's
Steve
there.
Logan's there.
Steve's really a family member. Sandy Summers, her sweet baby boy.
Oh, yeah.
Seth Wheaton is actually our
Dan's cousin.
our GM out there, Dan,
Yeah.
your cousin.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's really family,
Right.
I mean, some way, somehow, the core team is connected. Now, I mentioned earlier that we go through 6 months. It gets really slow. We go 6 months when it's really busy. The nice thing is when we're really, really busy, it's kind of summertime. So the other community responsibility we have out there is we have a lot of young folks that come, and this is their first job. And so we try to, it is our responsibility to make sure that they have a real experience. So we work really, really hard to make sure that it's run professionally so that those kids that come out there actually gain something good from their summer. Now, obviously, a lot of them are slinging canoes and they're out in the sun and it's fun. But the other thing is we try to run it as professionally as we can. So I think that just spills down through everybody because we try really, really hard.
It is very professional.
It is very professional, but you know what it reminds me of a little bit is, and hopefully this is an okay reference, but it reminds me of being at Disney a little bit because all the staff there are happy, or at least they seem to be happy. I've never seen a staff member act irritated. Everyone's friendly and fun, and
You haven't got me on a bad day.
well, besides Mary.
Well, we don't throw stuff out the window. We don't throw our trash on the ground, Mary.
But I mean, we were
Don't
just
speed
there.
down the
and
road.
That's right.
From the guy coming to take the drink orders to loading the canoes or the kayaks that we rented, everyone's just really friendly. And if you stand there for a minute, they'll start chatting with you. It's just a really nice vibe out there.
Well, we do try really, really hard. Let me tell you one of the things that we did down there from day one when we purchased the place. You mentioned earlier in the show it was not a nice place. And I'm not a bar owner. I don't do this. I'm an engineer,
right.
So we actually, from day one, we engaged with the sheriff's department, and we actually had off-duty deputies there.
I remember that years ago.
And they're still there. Every Saturday and Sunday when we're at capacity, we have off-duty deputies there. And it's kind of funny. At the beginning when we did that, we had a lot of folks say, "Hey, Bill, why do you have the cops here?" It makes me...
I don't like them watching me drink.
Makes me very...
Don't drink and drive.
We'll go to another bar.
Yeah, makes me very uncomfortable with a cop sitting there watching me drink, and I say, "Well, dude, then maybe this isn't your place."
No
That's
doubt.
right.
What are you
Somewhere
doing
else.
that's making you uncomfortable?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
Well, and we've had
there
people go around the corner and light up a joint, and it's like, seriously?
Well, you also have
People think they can do that anywhere nowadays. It's like, not yet,
It's
people.
still illegal. You cannot do it
You
at
also-
Wekiva Island.
That's right.
So you also have off-duty police officers there as guests. Some of my friends
all the
are Todd Yonke and his wife we've ran into out there before. So
I have a question. What is capacity at the island?
395 people, 271 vehicles.
wow.
That was...
Wow.
We just changed that. That was the last...
You got it upped a little bit?
It was
or-
260, and it was
wow.
248.
So
it's kind of funny because we were 260 was the occupancy, and I said, guys, that is the building occupancy. If you look at the buildings, and every building you can let so many people, maximum 110 people, maximum 20 people. If you add up all the occupancies of our building, miraculously it adds up to 260.
Yeah.
So it said 260 is the occupancy. Somewhere, some way, some folks said that is the occupancy for the entire island and the entire livery.
Yeah.
And so this last battle we went through was we were trying to clarify that. And I think the compromise was there's a lot of people stuck on 260. It's not.
Yeah.
It never was. But we're now at 390, whatever.
395.
And it's fine.
And I'll tell you, when we were out there the other day,
It's not even crowded, though.
I was like, there's no wait, because we had people that came late.
And we were at
guess what? You can't get to
we're
the
at
cabana
capacity,
if
395.
you're,
That's it.
You guys, so just for our listeners that aren't familiar with Wekiva Island, so if you decide you want to go out there on a weekend, you really need to get there by 10 a.m. I think it was probably near 11 when they reached capacity on a Sunday of all days of the weekend.
Actually, it was about 10:30.
Was it 10:30?
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and once it reaches capacity, that's it. You can't walk in, as Bill said. That's capacity is capacity. That's it. So that kind of tells you.
We fill up with cars before we fill up with people. So we really want people to carpool.
Sure.
Yes.
But we open at 8.
Yeah.
You've got until about 10. And if you try at 12, 1 or 2, you're probably
it's too late.
Not getting
It's
in.
too late.
Yeah.
And it's the other nice thing about the place though is when it's at capacity, you picture a place that's so crowded you can't move, but it literally I would not even know they were at capacity if you hadn't told me that.
And so let me make a couple other plugs. I tell you what, during the week it is lovely.
Oh, we go during the week.
Yeah,
we
so
bike down there.
Yeah.
So
Me and Mindy come down there
it is
kayaks.
and at this time, so during the school year we close at 7 p.m. But during this time in the summer we're open till 9 o'clock, and it is actually lovely down there during the week. Our food vendor Gary Malini that runs the Without a Paddle Cafe does great food.
He really
His
does.
food
The fish
truck is
tacos.
Oh God, they're
Lobster
incredible.
sandwich.
And
Everything's
so,
good. The
It's
Bill's
really
burger.
good. Yeah.
I would plug, the week, during the week, and I'll tell you what, in the wintertime, it is my favorite time.
That is probably my favorite time.
Dan and I have been down there
we
in
have
the
a
winter.
big fire pit.
Right.
We have everybody hangs out around the fire. We cook marshmallows, and it's there are no bugs. It is just a beautiful.
So, if I can be honest for a minute, we come a lot more often in the winter months. With you guys have the fire pit it's all carved with the shapes in it, and we go and listen to music and have our wine. So
And
I
less
would agree
heat.
with you.
And less heat.
Right.
You can walk away from the heat.
That's right.
So you guys also purchased a place. I know this isn't Wekiva Island related, but I'm just curious about it. You purchased a place in New Smyrna. That's Outriggers. Can you, we don't have to go too deep on this, but can you tell us a little bit about that place? I haven't been personally. I want to go. Is it similar? Is it completely different? What drew you to this place?
Okay, so first I got to give you a little bit of backstory here too. So what happened, I mentioned that we have a lot of rules at Wekiva Island. And so I have a place over at New Smyrna Beach on the river, and I'm kind of a boat guy anyway. So I used to boat by this piece of property that was being built. Actually, it was a piece of property I was trying to buy at one point in time to build a second Wekiva Island.
Oh, wow. Before Outriggers was there?
Yeah, before Outriggers was there. But they wanted $5 million for the piece of property, so that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I watched this property be built, and the folks that built this place, Tim and Todd Phillips, they own a big road construction place. They built an incredible, beautiful place. And somewhere 3 or 4 years after that, 3 years, I think, after it was opened, I had the opportunity to meet them and talk about the idea of me taking that over, because I was so impressed by this, by the facilities at the New Smyrna Marina. And for some reason, he trusted me. And he said, okay, it wasn't for sale. Like the Wekiva Island, the old Wekiva Marina, it wasn't for sale.
You put that energy out there, though. See,
he
things
said,
come to you.
I trust you. I think you could handle this. And I said, okay, beautiful. And so I went to my partners, Beckman and Russ and all those guys. We had some residual cash hanging out in some buildings, like the building we work in.
Right.
We had a couple buildings in Vegas, a couple buildings in California. We had some residual cash that was just hanging out there. And I said to my partners, hey, I want to cash in my shares in this, this other little business we got going on, because I want to buy this, the New Smyrna Marina in Outriggers. And Beckman said to me, dude, I've always wanted to own a bar with you. Let's just do it together.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I didn't know Beckman was part of this.
Yeah, Beck, Russ, everybody that was part of GRG, all the partners of GRG, Dan Chrisman is a partner. Ken Rigby is a partner.
Oh, wow.
Of Outriggers. So it's actually, you remember the company name Burwhip?
Of course.
Okay. Burwhip owns the marina over there.
Oh, wow.
But it was inspired by Bill Weinaug, and It was inspired by Wekiva Island, really. And it's different. It is, Wekiva Island is a small, 16, 17, 18 foot, marina where you do this incredible bass fishing in Florida. Over there are 40, 50, 60, 80 foot sport fishermen sitting at our docks, and it is in these boats. I mean, one boat sitting out there, there's a Spencer sitting out front. It was $8 million.
So it's on the ocean. It's right on the inlet.
It's on the river.
It's on the river.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's the river it's on?
It's on
The Intercoastal.
The Intercoastal.
That's what I meant by the inlet. The Intercoastal.
Yeah, it goes right out the inlet. So the sports fishermen go out the inlet. But
cool.
We sell fuel. There's a dry dock there. A stack house. We've got cottages, little villas that we're building. Two are under construction right now. Those will be we own the land there where the cottages are. So that's all cool.
Wow.
So and we're in the middle of changing the menu. It was a bar food kind of place when we bought it.
Right.
We want it to be. We actually are. You know us.
Sure.
You know the Burwhip guys.
Yeah.
We want it to be the best seafood restaurant in Florida, and that's our goal.
So are you shopping for like a chef now?
No, we've got a whole new team in place, and we've got the best of the best guys there. You talk about assembling a team. Some way we were able to do that. So we've got an incredible team in place right now. It took a little bit of work to do that, but I'm looking forward to the future, and our goal is set on being the best seafood place in Central Florida.
Okay, so okay, you go first.
I was just going to say, you and I need to plan a weekend to go stay in New Smyrna and go. I can't believe we haven't been, but now I'm thrilled to go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great places in New Smyrna Beach. I would plug the Third Wave, which is a really, really good friends of ours. Sheila Road Animal Hospital?
I know where it is. I don't know the owners.
Wayne Lundberg and Kathy Lundberg.
They're really, really good friends of ours. Somewhere in the middle of this, we were looking for property on Flagler together, and we were going to do a little crepe thing. And I was like, we need to do something over here. Well, they ended up doing Third Wave by them with some other friends. They didn't want me involved. They said, Bill, you're too crazy for us. And so we're going to do this on our own. I'm like, well, okay, I'll
crazy
go
is good.
I said, I'll go do the marina down the road. You can't do the marina. I'm like, yeah, I will. I'll go do that big thing. So
it's bigger.
But their place, we strive to have something close to what they got. They have the best food. They have great staff, great drinks. So if you go over there for the weekend, absolutely go to Outriggers and absolutely hit Third Wave.
Check Third Wave out.
Yeah.
All right. So, and what I love about that is how there's, we're kind of have the philosophy that there's plenty of success in the world, and by promoting your friends and family or what could be conceived as competing businesses is really not a competitor. It's just kind of spreading the love and the success. So,
and the neat thing is they're Apopkanites. So
are they're from Sheila
Apopka.
That's right.
Yeah, they live here in Apopka.
So we are supporting local. That's great. So my question is, how are you bringing sustainability to Outriggers?
Well, when I first got involved over there, I was very inspired to try to make it the greenest saltwater marina on the planet. There's in a parking area where I have the designs done for solar over the whole top of the parking area. We were going to
that can bring in a lot of energy there.
A lot of energy, but it also costs a lot of money. So our first things first. So let me say this: I don't think those dreams are gone. I think first thing first, we have to make it a very successful restaurant and a very successful destination.
You got to make people want to come there.
So once we do that, then we'll have the wherewithal to take it to the next step. So when I said at the beginning, oh boy, because that's a longer dream. Sometimes things are tough. They don't happen overnight. So we're still, the mission's still out there, but I think having great food and becoming a great seafood restaurant has to come first.
Sure, and that makes sense. I think if I'm reading between the lines here, once it starts becoming financially successful to the point to where you can start taking some of that money to invest in being green.
Yep.
So, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Such of informative discussion about the island, about the efforts that you guys, the history, the efforts you guys have gone to make it sustainable, the events that you do out there. Just for someone who goes there, it was educational. So for people that have never been there, I think it kind of tells everything there is to know, at least as far as wanting to go out to the island and kind of see what it's all about. So I encourage all of you to go check it out. I know that Angie and I will be out there even more now after hearing about some of the stuff that you guys do out there. And we really can't thank you enough for taking the time to sit and chat with us for a while. Yeah.
Especially since we can ride our bike there. I don't know why we wouldn't go.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, and we're putting in, I was looking, matter of fact, today I was looking at bike racks. So we're going to put in some big
oh, that's great. Yeah. We'll put that link in there, Mary. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we will for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
but thank you guys.
Thank you for doing this. This was actually fun.
So we're going to take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back with the information station. We encourage you to check out the island. I'll put links in the description of the show notes so you can scroll down and click on it, and you'll hear us talking more about the island as you've heard us talk about it before this episode too. So hang tight. We'll be right back.
So welcome back, everybody. It's time for your information station.
Indeed.
And what a great interview we had with the owners of Wekiva Island.
Yes, Bill and Mary are great. So fun.
Big thanks to them again.
Yeah, we could have kept talking for another hour.
I know. They wanted to. And so did we.
We did too.
But yeah, that was a great interview. And what they do in the community and personally in their lives to make a change in the environment, I think that inspires us and hopefully will inspire you to kind of make some changes as well.
They certainly walk the talk, as we say. For sure they do.
And we love going to the river, right? We love kayaking at all the different spring-fed rivers that are in Florida.
Indeed.
So I was super interested in the health aspect of rivers, not just being outside, because I've talked about that a lot.
Yep.
But is there a benefit for swimming in those springs or in the river?
Well, go figure, you would find out.
I found out. I mean, some of it I kind of already knew, but we know that since spring is bubbling up from the ground,
right?
It's collecting all these great minerals in it, and minerals are good for our skin, especially specific ones. So a couple of the minerals that are really great for our skin and that are actually present in especially the spring-fed water,
right?
Are the electrolytes calcium and magnesium. And everybody knows what those two things are. But what those do is they can actually help your skin be more hydrated. And not just from drinking it, so not just from it coming into your system, but being exposed to it on the outside as well.
Like soaking in through your skin.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I remember years ago, I watched like a beauty tip about somebody who would just, she looked very young. And
Yep.
she said that her technique was that she just dabbed her face with cold mineral water every day. I remember seeing that years ago and be like, that's crazy.
Wow. And you remember that too.
Yeah, I remember that. It was on some show or something. And I'm like, whatever. But it makes sense. She's keeping her skin hydrated, which can help keep, wrinkles at bay and,
Right.
just keep your skin healthy. So I thought that was super interesting. So
It is. Yeah.
yeah. And then something else that I found out that was really cool is that mineral water can actually act as an astringent, and that actually helps to rid your body of dead skin cells,
Yep.
which can make your skin look rough and, feel coarse and not look very young. It helps get rid of dirt,
Right.
and it can even remove toxins from your body.
Wow.
So pretty cool, right?
It is cool. It makes me think that I always do this. I think of like ancient man or ancient woman. It makes me wonder, like when we were living off the land and there were no real added chemicals and it was all very natural, it makes me almost wonder with all the perfumes and dyes and lotions and things that were sort of programmed that we need in order for it to be healthy or our skin's going to be dry. It just makes me wonder if you weren't putting treated water on your body, then you wouldn't need lotion to kind of counteract that.
Absolutely.
It just makes me think if you were living out in the middle of nowhere and if things weren't as polluted as they are now and you were just swimming in rivers, and you would naturally have sort of all the things we need, 14 different things to get now, like smooth skin and nice hair and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's interesting. Well, I guess you can still get the benefits if you're in the right place.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's another element called silica, which most of us are lacking in our diet, but probably especially, for it coming in contact with the outside of our body. Silica is an element. You can find it in foods like cucumbers, but it's actually found in mineral water as well.
Wow.
And it can help, with healthy hair, like if your nails are brittle and need repairing, if your hair's dry.
So I might sound really
and
foolish
your skin
here.
too. Yeah.
I might sound like an idiot here, so bear with me. Is silica the same stuff that's in that powder people take when they
Yes.
can't use the bathroom? What's that stuff called?
No. That's fiber.
What's it called though? It's called. I always said it sounds like a supervillain's name.
Oh, it's Psyllium Husk.
Psyllium Husk.
Yeah,
That's not
that's
silica.
not the same
Okay,
thing.
sorry. Forget that then.
Silica you need in very little doses, but we are not getting it in
Right.
our diet, and really in exposure, like you said, the chemicals we're putting on the outside of our body,
Yep.
it dries your skin out. And our skin is supposed to produce oil. And what do we try to do with oil? Get rid of it.
Sure.
Oil keeps your skin healthy.
Right. So nobody wants
Keeps
the
it
greasy
lubricated.
face.
Yeah. But it's actually a sign of a healthy skin.
Is
you
it?
know?
Well, then
Yeah.
I have extremely healthy skin.
You do. You do.
On my
I mean, you
face.
still got to wash your face and stuff just because you do need to clean it.
What do you mean? I
but
do. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I agree with you.
I see that shine there.
I'm always like that. Well, I guess to tie into that, I was thinking that, you and I enjoy going out in the river so much here in Florida for kayaking and all that. Really, that's mostly what we do is kayaking and canoeing. And based on our conversations with Bill and Mary, I started thinking, how are we contributing to keep the rivers clean besides just sort of being responsible when we're actually out on the water and not leaving trash and things like that? But more like, what are we doing at home? Are we doing our part to make sure we're not helping to contribute to the toxins that are going into the actual water, as Mary mentioned? All the chemicals and all the poison stuff that's going down the drain is contributing to the changes in the rivers. And so we are almost chemical free in terms of our soaps and stuff. I think we could still have a deeper effort to replace all of our cleaning products. And
it's hard to make the change, especially on like body products.
It really is, especially if you have any prescription stuff.
Yeah.
That's the question and I'm willing to bet there's probably some natural remedies that can replace a lot of the prescription stuff. But, all that stuff that we use that we shouldn't be using really does make its way into the water source. And I know you make those natural cleaning products that we use around the house. What's in those?
I mean, really, it's like old-fashioned, what they used to use. A lot of vinegar and a lot of baking soda. That's
Wow,
what they
it's
used to
very
clean
basic.
with. Yeah.
Wow.
It's, it's a disinfectant.
Yeah.
Kills germs. And then a lot of the essential oils that you can add to it that make your house smell good, but they actually have antimicrobial, they kill allergens in the house. I mean, lemon oil, I could go on and on. Lavender,
Yeah, it smells
the list
good,
goes
too.
on and on. They all have some type of benefit like that. So yeah. That's
Isn't it
all you have
weird?
to do. It's a simple change.
So isn't it weird how that's very interesting. It's also weird to me how we've sort of been programmed to when you smell your clothes, if it doesn't have that soapy detergent smell that we all love so
don't think
much,
it's clean.
you don't feel like it's clean. But really that smell that you smell is terrible for your skin for the most part.
Yeah. I basically wash our clothes with a vinegar, and I use an essential oil for like a softener.
Right.
And then baking soda. I mean, that's pretty much it. I know sometimes it was hard for you to get used to.
It was, and I just for our listeners, if you're like me, my gut instinct was it sounds like we're going to be a bunch of dirty hippies that smell like patchouli oil or whatever you call it, and incense or something. But it's really not. Everything's clean. It doesn't smell like a dirty body, like dirty clothes smell.
Yeah.
And I guess it got me thinking and doing a little research that, as Mary told us, chemicals make their way into the rivers, but when that happens, it actually can change the pH level of water, which can then have a negative effect on many of the organisms that are in the water.
That's right.
So it's really up to us to think about how those things can cause an imbalance. Plants can die. That could be a source of food for other animals, for shelter. For specific animals, there's sort of like a chain reaction that can have all these negative effects on plants and animals and ourselves. As you know, Bill was talking about how the river water that I swam in out on Wekiva when I was a kid versus now is completely different because of what we're doing to our environment. So it's really a fairly easy change that everyone can start making in their house. You'll find that it's less expensive. Unlike, eating clean.
A lot less expensive.
The chemical side is actually a lot less expensive. It's better for your skin. It's better for the environment. It's like a win-win-win. And I was resistant. I'm not into the hippie movement thing. But I'm bought in now that, Angie has done it. I don't feel like it's such a weird thing anymore. I feel like it's the most logical thing. It's the smartest thing to do for so many different reasons. So I would like to encourage everybody to think about getting rid of the chemicals in your house and making everything chemical free.
And not only for the health of the environment, for the health of yourself. Huge.
Of course.
Respiratory problems are caused by cleaning agents, and you don't even know it's happening, but it's happening.
Of course.
Birth defects.
Oh, it doesn't
if you're pregnant,
surprise me.
using certain cleaners. So highly encourage you guys for the health of us and the environment to do it.
And I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist because I'm not one. I'm more of a skeptic than a conspiracy theorist. But if you think that because your cleaning supplies have been approved by the FDA or whoever that you're good to go, you are sorely mistaken.
Do a little research.
Just do some research and you'll see there is stuff that gets through that's proven to be horrible for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just think if people can make more effort, we're going to do our part to take the chemicals that we are still using and get those out of our house.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to put a link on the website of a site where you can actually look up the chemicals or, cleaning products and stuff and see what type of bad stuff they have in it.
Yeah, that's great information to share. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that on there.
Awesome.
But in closing, we just want to give another big thanks to Mary and Bill for a great interview, really
Indeed.
opening our eyes to some changes that need to, if a little bit of change is made by each person, we can really make a big difference in this world. So thank them for actually starting, to make an impact locally, and hopefully that spreads and spreads.
Indeed.
And guys, we want to hear from you as always. Please give us a call. Let us know your thoughts about the show or just life in general, or share a funny story, whatever it is. 407-490-3899. Or you can always email us at feedback@fineanddangie.com.
Very nice. And all of our social media is fine and dandy. We always ask this, but if you haven't yet done so, please rate and review. And if you do like us, please subscribe. We've seen the number of reviews grow, and we really appreciate that. They've all been really great. The nice thing about a podcast, as I say, is you can listen to them anytime and you can listen to them in chunks. So if you're new to podcasts, if you happen to be a friend of Bill and Mary's and they told you about the show and you don't listen to podcasts any other time, the nice thing about them is you can listen to 5 minutes of it in the car, and 3 weeks later you can go back to it and it'll pick up right where you left off. So it's on your schedule. It's almost like radio Netflix. So I love them. That's all I listen to anymore is podcasts.
And I did want to say too, if you follow us personally, but you haven't followed our social media, especially our Facebook page,
right?
I can't tag you in pics and stuff whenever you're at an event.
Yep.
So make sure you go on there and follow us, follow the page.
Great point. Yep.
So that I can tag you.
So you can see the pictures and stuff. Yeah. So a business page won't let you tag someone unless you're a friend. I've run into that in my book stuff as well. So we ask you, as we ask you in most of our episodes, to think about what you're doing in the world to make a difference. And what are you doing to make a positive change in your life, in someone else's life, and more especially for this episode for future generations?
That's right.
And we want to remind you that at the end of the day, it's all fine and dandy.
Well, it's always a fun time.
It is.
If you have good costumes, you might take the 100,000 or the
100,000.
No, that
Bill,
was
you said it.
the $1,000 first prize away.
I can say and always remember. I just launched right into it. I was freaking out.
You didn't want to say make a beautiful planet.
I got lost in that, and I was like, I would never say this. And also, it says beautiful plant where we live.
Well, really, isn't it just one big plant?
Remember that making positive changes now is a way of giving back to